Fires like this can be scary, even though this one seems safe enough, but they can utterly destroy, or they can make permanent and purify in the process. There's sure an emotional gap between the time that you and I first encounter a difficult trial and we discover that joy that God designed it to bring into our lives. How do we get there? No other way except to stay the course, regardless of the cost, and be transformed in the process. As we work with a couple of horses, trying to take them from a place of self-control to a predictable, responsible response of godliness, we're going to need to go through a few fires. Watch these transformations ahead. Probably not a more determining factor in whether we will turn a fantasy into a reality than this issue of sweat. You can teach a horse a lot of good things, but you can never substitute good teaching for wet saddle blankets. In reference to the Thessalonians, when Paul remembered, he said, I remember your work of faith, your labor of love, and your steadfastness of hope. Now, while we like faith, hope, and love, we don't like those adjectives of work, labor, and steadfastness. They sound like a whole lot of hard work. And so it is with this horse, that though I can teach him an original concept, I need to build within him a pattern, because that's really what character is all about. It's about a patterning of life that you and I can predict. The moment the horse puts tension on the line, the moment the horse looks somewhere else, I will cause him to step over so he begins to hear and to enter in or to abide in my presence, not just in the concepts or the knowledge of it, but in the principles of it. 1 Corinthians 13 talks about love being an expression of our character. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not jealous. Well, none of us learn those qualities overnight. It does not brag. It is not arrogant. It does not seek its own. It is not provoked. It does not rejoice with unrighteousness, but it rejoices with the truth. Now, the moment there's pressure on that line, I'll cause him to move forward. And I'll get after him a little bit. Why? Because he's only 75% with me. So I'll provoke him once in a while to get after him. Whoa. I'll stop him. I'll ask him to get there on a nice soft line. And what we're really looking for is this, what he does with his hips, what he does with his hind legs. As I walk forward this time, I'll stop him. He should stop straight underneath himself. In other words, what we're trying to do is so work with him that we engage or empower the heart to come into the face. But getting those turns will be difficult. And we're going to take these turns from here. See how he walks forward? He doesn't have enough self-control to persevere. So he walks off and he loses it. On the other hand, if you stay with me and stay with this colt, you'll be thrilled at what he learns to do later on in his life if the proper foundations are laid. And these foundations are fundamental to his ultimate success. The same concept with this horse. And begin to work him forward and over. You begin to see that he has a better confidence of being able to stay in harmony with us. And I can always correct him or cue him or straighten him or empower him a little bit more on the ground. Get after him just a little bit so he gets more straightness or correctness. But even so, we get a little more fruitfulness of what we're after by getting the horse to step up and forward. In order to do this, the horse has to have forward motion. He has to have softness on the face. And the ability to be corrected without overreacting. Notice that never once does he come up into the bridle. Whoa. Because he's honored these forms of correction and direction as means of teaching and instruction, not means of rejection. Now, as he speeds up, I'll step him over and I'll hold him until the horse learns to go forward with softness and step his shoulder over. If he doesn't move forward, if he moves forward with a lot of resentment in his face or a lot of pressure on his face, I can't go farther. It's not a matter of wanting to do more. It's a matter of not being able to do more because the horse isn't mature enough to respond to the pressures. And as I step him over like this, he begins to find that this is a stressful job. But the more stressful he finds it, the more he'll want to do what I want him to do. So as he hears and steps over, he'll step his hind leg up underneath himself just a little bit more. At that point, because he's been consistent with hearing my voice, I will step his left foot around like this for just a small step. Now, folks, whatever we do, we can't go to the next level unless he succeeds at this level. We can't give him more speed. We can't give him more rein. We can't take the bridle off of him. You know why? Because he didn't pass the test here. There's not a more pivotal point. In fact, in 2 Timothy, it speaks about three kinds of people and their ability to succeed. It speaks about soldiers and athletes and farmers. The one common denominator being among them is that they are persevering people.